But right now, pleased to welcome in our next guest. He is Syracuse legend, Syracuse alum C.J. Fair will be playing in the Alumni Basketball League this Sunday against a group of Georgetown alums at the SRC Arena on the campus of OCC. C.J., welcome in. Thanks so much for hopping on today, and it's probably going to be fun for you to get back up to the Cuse this weekend, huh?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. I can't wait to be back.
So what is the deal with this league? It's existed for a little bit. I guess a Maryland team played a Georgetown team once. It seems to be growing. What is the deal with this thing you got going on Sunday with a group of Cuse guys taking on a group of Georgetown guys?
Yeah, honestly, I'm still learning about the league. I get a call from Devendorf, and he asked me, did I want to play? He was like explaining everything to me, and I'm saying, yeah, of course, I'll be there. So, anything that got to do with basketball and Syracuse, you can count me in. So, I don't need, to know all the details. If it's just basketball, I'm there.
So the roster is to fill people, and it's you, obviously, Eric Devendorf, Paul Harris, Chris McCullough, who we just saw playing here in the TBT, Malachi Richardson, Rick Jackson. You would have overlapped with Rick briefly at Syracuse for a year, John Gillen, and Jimmy Boeheim, who also just played in the TBT. So it's kind of interesting for you, right? Like, it's all Syracuse guys, but it's not necessarily the guys that you played most of your career with.
Yeah. But that's the thing about, like, Syracuse. We all a close-knit group. Everyone support everyone. I never played with Devendorf, but I still remember him being on campus when I was there, playing with us in the summers. And, like, I think that tradition just carries on. So, even though we didn't physically play with each other, like, during the season, but I think we play with each other one way or another, some way.
C.J. Fair is with us. We're getting you ready for the Alumni Basketball League game on Sunday between Orange 8, the Syracuse alums, and Dog Talk, a group of Georgetown alums. It's 10 years later now, C.J. Do you still feel that Georgetown rivalry? You guys played some serious games back in your day.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. It's one of those things that just won't die. Me being in Baltimore, so I'm kind of close to the D.C. area. I stay away from any areas that might be infested with Georgetown people.
That's good. We got to keep you clean, CJ. We got to keep you out of there. Keep you out of there to make sure everything's okay. I think you're an interesting guy to ask about this because we talk a lot about conference realignment these days, and it's in the news every day for one reason or another. Your career was divided by the end of the Big East and the beginning of the ACC. I'd say you almost specifically are somebody to remember. Like, you had the dunk on Greg Monroe. That was kind of the end of the Big East, and one of the first memorable plays of the ACC was, Coach Boeheim ripping off his jacket at Duke after the play you were involved in. What was that like for you going back 10 years to be involved in that change of conferences?
It was different, and it was Otto Porter, not Greg Monroe.
Oh, pardon me. It was Otto.
Yeah, but I was excited to transition to the ACC just because it was an opportunity to play at Maryland, and that was for me to play at home. So that was the one thing I was really excited about, looking forward to. And, it's always, good to see fresh teams, and you hear about the ACC, the Dukes from North Carolina, things like that. So, you want to be a part of that. But, of course, the Big East is where our hearts is at, and I did miss the Big East tournament. It was nothing like that. That couldn't be replicated.
No, I mean, I don't know if you've seen it, CJ, the 30 for 30, the requiem for the Big East. Like, your dunk on Otto, it's basically like the end of it. It's like the Big East ended, essentially. I realized there was another game after that, but like the Big East ended on that play. When you look back on it, is it weird? What is it that you were involved basically in the last, memorable play of the entire league?
Man, I'm definitely honored. It's definitely a memory that's with me and all the Cuse fans. Just because that year we lost to them in the regular season, like, they kind of blew us out. I remember at their arena, and people thought that was going to be the last meeting, and we was able to revenge that in the Big East tournament. And and a good old fashioned beating. So I was glad we was able to come out on top, and I'm glad to be part of history.
All right, that said, is CJ Ferris our guest. Which play, and pick another if it's neither of these two, but I'm going to guess it's one of these two. When you run into Syracuse people, when you run into basketball people, which one gets brought up more, that play or the Duke play and Boeheim ripping the jacket off?
Oh, that's a good one. I think the one in Duke. People always come up to me and say it wasn't a charge. Like either in person, social media, people always say that it wasn't a charge. But I would say if anybody asks about their favorite player of mine, they always revert to the dunk against Georgetown. So it kind of go hand in hand. But I feel like I hear and see more of the Duke controversial call.
Yeah, I'd say if you're gonna be remembered for two, those would be the two, and it's a pretty good. You got a pretty good list, CJ. I'll give you that. You got a pretty good list to be remembered for, which is good in your time in Syracuse. And college sports, it changes over the years. There's very few players like you anymore, CJ. 4-year guys that stuck it out. When you look at the transfer portal these days, and not that you were lacking playing time from the beginning, how strange is it that guys that have careers like you, they don't really exist as much anymore?
Yeah, it's a different time. It's a weird time, And I was one of those players my freshman year. I still remember vividly the first game. I don't remember if it was the exhibition game or the first official game, but I was the last one off the bench, and I was the last one to get in the game, and it was a wake up call for me, and it caught me off guard, but I had to. I had to work my way up into the rotation, and I was able to do that because, Boeheim, he's very short with his rotation. So I was luckily able to work my way up. But, for many guys in that situation, they probably would have, in that situation now, they might transfer. So it's one of those things. I like it in some instances, but I don't like it on the other hand. So it goes both ways. Yeah,
you're certainly the case of when you do stick it out and it does go well, how you get to be remembered by your school and by a fan base. And you're doing this thing. I know you've done the TBT for Boeheim's Army before. Is that what draws you in, CJ, to these events, like being with the Syracuse fans and the Syracuse guys? What is it that brings you back time and time and again to events and games like this?
Yeah, it's really, the love I get, it's one of those things you cherish forever, just because not all universities are like that. Even when, I'm out of sight, out of mind type, but then if I come around Syracuse, or if I even go to a game in another city, I always get love. So it's just my way of pouring love back. It's a give and take, and as the years go on, like the more I want to show my face, just to be remembered and stuff like that. I never want to be forgotten.
All right, take us into it, CJ. What keeps you occupied these days? What are you up to these days?
Right now, I started a real estate and construction business. So really, I just be on the grind with that. Like I do a lot of, I manage a lot of remodels, like bathrooms, full gut remodels, things like that. So I usually do it sometimes for my properties, or I do it I get do my services for other clients that need work done. So that's what keeps me busy now. I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I like it a lot.
All right, so out in the real world, making it happen out there in the real world. We got to know though. We'll see you on the court on Sunday. Time moves on. You still got the legs to pound one down on somebody on Sunday, CJ. We going to see you high flying on Sunday, or are those days past?
Oh no, I definitely still got it. I just I'm always one of those that take advantage of the opportunity. I'm not one of those just try to dunk everything. I think that's how I catch people off guard, just because they see me lay it up a few times and then they think I'm gonna lay it up for the third time. That's when I catch a good dunk and stuff. So No, definitely. I'm still in good shape. Things like that.
All right, man. Well, we're really looking forward to watching you play this Sunday. Always cool when you're back up here, and thanks for hopping on for a few minutes today.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
That is CJ Fair. Again, you can see him this Sunday, CJ, for Orange 8 taking on Dog Talk. It's Sunday, 7 o'clock at the SRC Arena. That is at OCC. Now, here's what we're going to do. I have a pair of tickets. For Sunday. CJ Fair, as we know, wears number 5, or at least wore number 5 at Syracuse.